Holy shit.
With Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix wrap up the Lara Croft reboot that began all the way back in 2013, with a brand new Lara finding her feet and frequently being shoved off of them as she's forced to fight for survival on an island just off the coast of Japan. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, Lara heads to Russia and comes up against Trinity, an ancient order turned paramilitary organization bent on uncovering the supernatural and taking ancient artifacts for its own personal gain. At the very end of Rise, Lara finds out that Trinity ordered her father killed, and this is the driving force for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, settling scores and setting things right. We've played about 5 hours in total of the game so far, and, based on what we've seen, here are 7 reasons Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the deadliest Lara yet.
Got to be more careful.
According to Eidos Montreal, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a coming-of-age story for Lara, as it's the last installment of the current reboot. After the big revelation at the end of Rise that her father didn't commit suicide and was in fact murdered by Trinity, Lara is having a bit of an identity crisis. After learning her whole life's been a bit of a lie, and that her family's reputation has been wrongfully tarnished, she doesn't know how to deal with her emotions, so settles on going on a bit of a murder world tour, heading around the globe, hunting down every single Trinity cell she can find and slowly dismantling the organisation while trying to stop an impending apocalypse. This attitude is going a little bit too far though, and she's starting to get herself into trouble. According to the developer, she's the most capable, calculating Lara we've ever seen, but that drive within her is starting to make her a little too rash. Eidos Montreal says Shadow is not a revenge story per se, but deep down, Lara is at a crossroads. She doesn't really know how to feel about the situation she's been forced into, or how to deal with her emotions. So all of that baggage is manifesting itself in this proactive drive that is kind of bordering on obsession.
Search everywhere. So, are we getting scuba equipment or something? Better. A bunch of underwater.
The Silver Crown Mountain. I'm getting closer.
Much of what we've played of Shadow of the Tomb Raider takes place in the Peruvian jungle, and this location was chosen by the developer as a deliberate contrast to the types of locations players have seen Lara survive in before, like snowy Russia and stormy Yamatai. The jungle is a dangerous place, and this is really reflecting where Lara is at in her own journey. An Eidos Montreal developer told us. The one-word pitch for this game early on was fear. So combining fear and jungle, this morphs the evolution of all the game mechanics. So how does the jungle and fear affect combat? Mostly through Lara using the jungle as cover, employing hit-and-run tactics, and using stealth to terrify your enemies. If you're playing this game in the stealthiest way possible, your prey won't know where you're coming from or what's going on. They will be terrified and they may never spot you before they get taken out by an arrow or by a stealth kill. Lara needs to use the jungle to gain an advantage, we were told by the developer. Often Trinity is outnumbering her 5, 6, 7 to 1. She needs to disappear, use stealth, use the canopy, use the water, hide and wait for the right moment to strike. And not by standing still, we always reward movement. It's very difficult if you stealth it and stay in the one spot. They are always searching and they're going to find you. If you keep moving, you can use all of the environment to your advantage. It's interesting too because trying to use noisy tactics like just wiping out a camp with an assault rifle seems much harder than before. We found we were taken out almost immediately every time. Stealth definitely seems to be the constant approach the game wants you to take, rather than just going in all guns blazing, which can often be frustrating. But it works to sell the evolution of Lara's journey from frightened ingenue to warrior. She's a genuinely scary and seemingly unstoppable force of nature, and the stealth kill animations in particular are absolutely brutal.
Someone should check back there.
Of course, to help you stay hidden and unseen from your prey, there are new traversal and movement techniques to put into practice. There's the fact that Lara can now cover herself in mud and blend into her surroundings, or sink into the lush vegetation the jungle provides. And there's also new takes on older mechanics, like swimming, spelunking, and wall running. Eidos Montreal says it wanted to look back at classic Tomb Raider and be inspired by techniques they found there. It was also important to them to use the movement of going down, because as Rise was all about ascending up towards the light, Shadow is all about descending into darkness, into death. The studio also wanted it to feel a lot darker, to feel like setting out into the unknown. These mechanics also play into other fears, like fear of falling, fear of drowning. The swimming, for example, isn't meant to feel nice and refreshing, it's sending you down into cramped, dark spaces with a real dread that you might run out of air, as eels and piranhas stalk your every move. And on land, you aren't the only thing hunting either. One of the big set pieces of our demo was a sequence where Lara was being stalked by not one, but 2 jaguars, and it is terrifying. They won't just run around you in a circle as predators in the older Tomb Raider games did, but they'll dart back into the shadows before pouncing at you without warning. We'd be lying if we said it didn't have us very panicked, but then we still felt rather bad about peppering them with arrows. At least Lara got to craft some nice new armour from their skins. Waste not, want not. Atta girl. Speaking of crafting, it's still very much a thing in Shadow from the very beginning, with Lara managing to make a very serviceable hunting knife from some plain wreckage. She has her trusty bow at her side, and she's able to create upgrades based on salvaged materials to improve aim, draw time, damage, and other stats. And of course, she can pick up guns and other weapons as she goes. Gear can be made or bought from vendors she'll meet along the way. And your proficiency with all of this can be helped along by putting skill points into Lara's skill tree, where the 3 main branches, Warrior, Scavenger, and Seeker, help you improve combat options, Lara's perception and ability to spot healing plants and crafting items, her ability to cut deals with vendors, among other things. The main thing to take away from all of this is Lara is more cunning and more resourceful than ever. Another thing to note is that whereas in Rise of the Tomb Raider you could craft and heal on the fly, holding down that same button now gives you multiple options. You could immediately craft and use something to replenish your health, for example, or you can use an item that will boost your perception and help you see through the jungle to help you find additional resources. The running theme of fear carries through to the new challenge tombs too, which are apparently bigger and badder than the ones we've seen in Rise. Unlike in the previous Tomb Raider games where puzzles were essentially Lara finding an improvised path to her goal, challenges in Shadow are actual trials, devised by the civilization as tests for warriors to overcome. They were meant for the express purpose of pushing humans to their limits, and killing them if they failed. The tombs we played through certainly tested our puzzle-solving skills, but they also tested our reflexes when it comes to traversal and spatial awareness. Some were set high in the air overlooking beautifully imposing vistas, others were down in the depths of the earth, surrounded in fire and death. It's clear that although Lara has become something of a killing machine in the jungle, the tombs are still the most frightening thing she'll face. So with all this chat about fear and death, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Shadow of the Tomb Raider is going to be a bit of a downer. The developer says this isn't so. There's a wide range of emotions in this game, and there are some lighter moments. Lara will actually laugh, for one thing, something the developer says it realised she hasn't really done for the entirety of this reboot. It had never occurred to us until we started to research, okay, well, what is she like when she's just having a normal conversation? And we had no references. We had to break that, they told us. It's true though, Lara is going through a tough time, but shouldn't she find all of this adventuring thrilling? Like, isn't that kind of why she becomes the person that she does? Anyway, in this game, Lara is often accompanied by her friend Jonah, who is much more of a people person and also brings out her softer side. But this game as a whole will see Lara interacting with more people. The developer wanted to expand the archaeology of the series from simply possessing old musty objects to including anthropology, learning from the culture, learning from history, and engaging socially with people. Positive engagement, as in not shooting them in the face. Apparently, this will all feed into the exploration, which Eidos Montreal is really excited about, because it says it's a huge part of the game.
Don't get many tourists through here.
Oh, I'm not a tourist. I mean, I'm a researcher.
So, what do you think of Shadow of the Tomb Raider? And do you reckon it'll be a fitting end to the latest Lara trilogy? Let us know in the comments, subscribe to Eurogamer for daily videos, and maybe check out one of the videos on screen now. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye!